Welcome, low ego action heroes. I'm Debbie Levitt from dcx, and today's live show, episode 277, hi Ana Lucia, is about a personal topic because here at the dcx Hive, we are trying to help you with work and personal stuff as well. We're following all of your paths along with you. So today is going to be a little bit more personal, but hopefully it is something that might help others or that you can turn into your own thing. I hope I'm sounding okay. Everything looking good? Okay. So, today's show is episode 277. We're going to be talking about how I used Claude for weight loss and continue to. And very quickly, before I get into that, please join our Discord community. It's free. We've got over 600 people there. We also have a free Patreon and, of course, subscribe on Twitch. Best place to catch us. So, first, I, of course, wanted to give an appropriate disclaimer because I am going to be talking about weight loss, and I want to make sure that people understand that I'm only going to be talking about my personal experience with this. That's going to be different than other people's experiences. And I also want to make sure I remind people I am not a medical professional in any way. And if you need a medical professional or you think you could benefit from one, please work with one. There's nothing about what I'm going to tell you with Claude that replaces a medical professional. Claude is being used as a spreadsheet I can ask questions to. It does not replace a doctor, a nutritionist, a dietitian, or any general doctor or specialized doctor who might help you with anything related to your weight. Also, it does not replace anything related to any eating disorders or allergies that you might have. So I just want to make sure we are really clear that the Claude stuff I'm going to talk about today, because I'm not going to show you, I'm just going to talk about it. I want to make sure people understand that on no planet do I believe that Claude replaces any medical professional or professional who can help you with anything, whether that is psychological or psychiatric or gastrointestinal or any of these things. So remember, great to talk to a nutritionist, great to talk to a dietitian, great to see your doctor, great to get therapy or other things if you need it. And if you are great, and if you are taking a weight loss drug, none of anything I say adds to that or removes from that. I have a few friends who are taking those weight loss drugs, and maybe this helps and maybe it doesn't. And Ana Lucia says, don't forget there are many conditions that may affect weight. It's Ana Lucia's case. So no, whatever Claude or ChatGPT may say during the session doesn't apply to me. People should realize it's not one size fits all. Yes, and actually when Ana Lucia hears what I did, she may decide it applies to her and she may decide it doesn't. But that's what critical thinking is all about. And that's what we do on this channel. Your mileage may vary, as we say. So again, do not, if you decide to try what I'm doing with Claude, especially if you feel you have weight to lose in a slow and healthy way, which is how I would recommend doing it, definitely talk to doctors if you need to, or consider the other things that might be at play. So, for example, in my case, I knew that a factor in my weight gain was menopause. I'd already seen my doctor about menopause. She had sent me for tests. We knew that this was really menopause. It wasn't just perimenopause. We knew that it wasn't something else. So, in that case, I made sure that I knew what I was up against, which in my case was menopause, but not any other disease diagnosis or condition. I am not neurodivergent. I'm not autistic. So there again are going to be things that are different for different people based on your particular health situation, personality, and things like that. So I know that was a very long disclaimer. Thanks for sticking with me for a few minutes of disclaimer. And remember, this is a conversation. So if you have questions, get them in that chat. It'll come up on the screen. I'm happy to answer them. You are welcome to ask personal questions, since today we were talking about something personal, and I'm going to do my best to have nothing to hide in case it helps any of you. So, The story starts with me being diagnosed with menopause in spring 2022, I think it was. It was during the pandemic, and that just threw my weight off worse than it already was. I'd already started struggling with my weight, and then my weight became really messy. And part of that appeared to be just messages my brain was sending me. Pretty much every waking day, my brain told me that I was hungry, or that if I could just eat a little something, I would feel better in some way. And I was like, okay. And so, my weight just started getting out of control. The highest weight that I experienced this year is still not as high as some of you saw me at in recent years. Some of you may have met me at conferences. My weight was definitely even higher, but by the time I would say my highest weight this year was in. And I have to get up my kilogram translation here, was in second week of July after I pigged out in Milan. It was at, let's see, it was at about 74.6 kilograms, which is about 164.5 pounds. Let's see what Ana Lucia is saying, and then I'll continue my story. Ana Lucia says, in my case, I'm not using weight loss medication, but I am using medication to get control over my condition, and now I have to get used to it. After this, I think general nutrition advice may start working, but until then, nothing will work. Unfortunately, it's been years of this, and only this year I managed to be diagnosed. The doctors that were thinking I was looking for excuses and that my weight was causing the issues instead of being a consequence. Yes. Again, stressing the importance of getting medical help or medical intervention, as Ana Lucia did, and as I did when I got diagnosed with menopause. So I knew I was struggling with brain messages, but what I didn't know was this something that I could get under control myself? Or was this something that was just really out of control? And if it felt out of control or was out of control, then I had promised myself that I would go back to my doctor and determine what to do about a weight loss system that was weight loss or weight gain experience that was out of control. But my first question to myself was, can I control this? Can I? Growing up, I was Captain Willpower. I was the kid who bought a candy bar, ate half the candy bar, put the rest in the freezer for another day, and then would forget I had it and eat it like a week later. So, growing up, I did not have eating disorders or emotional eating or problems with food. And so these sort of menopause brain messages were very new to me, and I really had no experience with them before. I'd always had a healthy relationship with food, and even though my weight had been all over the place in my adult life, um, uh, it was it was not looking good, over the past couple of years. So, starting on June 11th, 2025, and I'm talking to you at the end of October 2025, so it is now a good 5 months. 4 months later. So starting in June, I decided because I use Claude, hashtag not sponsored. Where's my not sponsored sign? Not sponsored. Because I use Claude for so many things, I would try to see if I could use Claude for tracking my eating. Now, previously, I had used apps for things like that. I had many years ago, I had my Fitness Pal and I had some carb counter, some keto diet thing. So I'd used those before, but my thought was I feel like I really need to customize something that can be fine tuned for what I'm trying to learn right now, which is, can I get this under control? And are any of these craving or hunger messages that my brain is giving me, are they true? And what can I do to create healthy weight loss that is sustainable and get into good long term habits? Because I didn't want to drop a lot of weight fast through natural or other means and then realize I just went right back up. So I really wanted to wrangle this. Ana Lucia says, hormones are horrible. Honestly, I gain weight from everything, including drinking water. Yes, I know how you feel there. There are definitely some weird days in my Claude tracking where I was like, I don't get it. I ate almost nothing yesterday. How did I put on weight? So, what I started doing with Claude in June was I would say I gave it everything that I was eating. Not photos. I would only do a photo if I really had no idea what the calories could possibly be, or sometimes I would describe it like, hey, I have a piece of chicken, it's 20 centimeters long, because I know this to this is 20 centimeters on my hand. You know, hey, I've got a piece of chicken, it seems to be this size, and I've got this many vegetables, I would estimate it's this. They seem to be cooked in oil. So sometimes we had to guess, you know, especially when you eat out. But I started giving Claude everything I ate, what time I ate it, and at first I wasn't weighing myself. At first, I just wanted to get an idea of what am I eating? How much am I eating? What times of day am I eating? How do I feel? So at first, I was tracking things like sleep, mood, energy, things like that. Because a lot of the menopause brain messages I was getting were telling me, "Oh, your energy just dropped a bit. You need a snack." Hey, mystery. Oh, you're feeling a little afternoon sleepiness. You probably need a snack. These were all of the menopause brain messages. Seemed to think that no matter what was going on in my life, I needed a snack. uh, oh, you've had a stressful day. You must need a snack. And sometimes I would say no, no, and sometimes I would eat it. But what I started tracking with Claude was not only eating that snack, but why I was eating. Every time I told Claude I was eating, I told it why I was eating. And I gave a score from 1 to 5. How hungry am I? One is, I'm not hungry at all. I just feel like eating this. Or I'm hoping I'll feel better after eating this. And then 5 was like, I am freaking starving. I almost have a headache. I've got to eat right now. And so I was eating at various levels of hunger for various reasons. And I just started by tracking that. I would tell Claude how I slept in the morning. Hey, had a bad night of sleep, had a good night of sleep, or I slept these hours and it was pretty good, or I slept these hours and I had terrible violent nightmares. And so I would give Claude all this information all day, mood and stress and energy and fatigue. And then, of course, when the menopause brain messages would say, "Hey, you know what, Deb? I bet if you have a little sweet treat, you'll feel better after that." And I'd be like, "All right," because let's be scientific. So I might eat that thing, but then hours later, I can check in with Claude and go, it's 3 hours later and I still feel pretty bad. You know, maybe I'm still upset or stressed out or tired or low energy. And after some weeks of tracking, and this was even before I started weighing myself, originally it was just health tracking. I started asking Claude questions. I said, I want to wait until because Claude was like, I think this. I said, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any conclusions you have. I want to collect at least 3 weeks of data and then we can start asking ourselves questions. And it was like, okay. So I said, after about 3 weeks, I said, okay, have I ever felt tired and then eaten something and then felt better later for having had a snack? And Claude was like, looking back at your past 3 weeks, I can tell you you've never felt better after having a snack because you were tired. Ana Lucia says, curious thing. One of my symptoms were not feeling full until it was too late. This was also hormonal. I had some similar things with the menopause as well. I had my body feeling a bit full, but my brain telling me I was still hungry and stuff just didn't match. So here I am in, I don't know, late June into early July, asking Claude these questions. Hey, Claude, have I ever felt tired, like let's say in the mid afternoon, and taken a small nap, which I would sometimes take small naps and give Claude, oh, I just took a 20-minute nap, a 40-minute nap. Hey, have I ever felt tired and then taken a small nap and felt better? And Claude said, nearly never. You take a nap and then a few times you felt better, sometimes you feel the same, and sometimes you feel worse after taking a nap. And I was like, ooh, okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Started asking it other questions. Stress, mood, Claude. You've watched me be very stressed out, especially after my first weekend of July. I had huge stress the first week of July. Most of you didn't know. Um, and Claude watched me suffer through that. And I would say, okay, stress days. Did eating help? Did taking a nap help? Nope. I can now look back at 4 weeks of data and tell you eating didn't help. Taking a nap didn't help. Okay. Um, is there anything that did help? And it was kind of like, not these things. These things, these things are not helped by food and naps. And so my thought was, okay, so then I have to find a way to get my willpower back to defeat the voice in my head that says, well, if you eat this snack, you'll feel better, your energy will pop, your stress will decrease. I now knew all of these were not true because I had tracked them. Now, your results may be different. You might find if you take a nap, you feel awesome after it. Well, good. Then that's good to know. Or if you feel terrible and you eat a tiny snack, and you feel better? Okay, tiny snack. Ana Lucia says binge eating is difficult to control. It's like emotional hunger. Yes, I wouldn't say I had binge eating, but I was definitely eating when I wasn't hungry, which I knew because I made myself responsible and accountable to tell Claude, okay, I'm eating right now. Here's my hunger level. One, not hungry. Two, not hungry. Three, kind of not hungry. And that forced me to be more honest about whether or not I was eating out of hunger, true physical hunger, or something else. Um and then I think it started in July. I decided to start weighing myself as well. And I said, my ultimate goal here, I have a few goals here. One is, do I need medical help, for anything that's going on right now? Do I need a weight loss drug? Do I need a therapist? Do I need something that I don't have right now? Or if it can be an or situation, even though I'm sure there's multiple outcomes, or can I get this under control in a healthy and safe way, and I perhaps don't need medical help or medication or anything else. So I started weighing myself in July, but that was right around the time that we were going to Milano for a few days to see my favoriteest band on the planet play a concert. And I just decided to treat myself to absolutely anything I wanted to eat. And we tried to count those calories, and they were up there. And when I came home, my weight was the highest so far this year. It was, I think, the number I said before, 74.8 kilograms, which is over 164 pounds. I should mention I weighed in this morning at 64.6 kilograms, which is just over 142 pounds. So I have lost 10 kilograms and about 22 pounds. And I have more to go. But again, I'm doing it slow and healthy. The favoriteest band is Sparks. So Sparks were touring their 30th album. I can't even count anymore. So that was the second week of July. My weight was the highest, and then I said, okay, not happy, don't like this. Now I want to start to get my eating under control and see if I can get some willpower back. I already knew from some weight loss I'd experienced during the pandemic that intermittent fasting seemed to help me. Again, that's not going to be for everybody, so I am not demanding that you do it. I'm not necessarily recommending it to you. I'm just saying it's something that happened to work for me. For those unfamiliar with it, intermittent fasting is just a fancy phrase for I'm going to put a big space between my last meal of one day and my next meal of the following day. It doesn't really mean you're fasting. It doesn't, it can certainly feel like deprivation to some people. For me, it mostly meant skipping dinner. So I was trying to not eat after 4 in the afternoon. Obviously, that didn't always happen. Sometimes people invited us to dinner. I ate dinner. But in general, oh, Sparks. Yeah, they're the best. So uh, for me, intermittent fasting seems to work and it seems to help, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't seem to affect my energy. In some cases, it seems to help my energy. I don't get emotionally or mentally or otherwise bothered by feeling a little hungry. I know sometimes people feel a little hungry and they think, oh my God, I feel a little hungry, I have to eat. Whereas I can. Trying to get my willpower back, I can say, okay, I feel a little hungry. I don't need calories right now. I'll wait till tomorrow. Um, and Mystery says intermittent fasting helps. I want to say her. I thought you were female, but I apologize if I'm putting the wrong gender on anybody. With hydration and supplements. Yeah, so definitely hydration. If you've been watching my channel for the last 5 years, you know I usually have a liter of water sitting at my desk and I am drinking and refilling this all day. I would love to be sponsored by water, but I think that's not a thing. I likely don't eat enough calories anyway. It depends. You have to find the right number of calories for you. Hello, she, her. Thank you. Ana Lucia says, sometimes I still don't know if I'm feeling hungry or nauseous. I'm getting better with medication, but still adjusting, so I'm rationalizing things. I don't eat when I feel like it. I decided to pick fixed hours to eat to control that, and I use intermittent fasting 12 to 12. Can't do the 16 to 8. Tried before, it was raising my cortisol levels. Yes, and again, everything has to be adjusted for everybody's individuality. For me, I tend to stop eating before 5 p.m. Some days I stop eating at 3, 3:30, 4, 4:30, usually not later than 4:30. And then the next day I normally start eating at 9:30 or 10. So that is usually 16 or 17 hours of fasting for me. I'm sleeping through most of that, and I always remind myself in the evening that I do not need more calories to sleep, and that reminder sometimes helps me. I found that I like the intermittent fasting. It works for me. It's comfortable for me, and it seems to help. So when I started weighing myself, I made sure that I weighed myself at the same time every day. So before I ate or drank too much, first thing in the morning, get naked, no one wants to see that. And weigh yourself. And that way you don't have any questions about, oh, it's my socks. Oh, I'm wearing a heavier t shirt today. I didn't even want to know. I didn't want any excuses. We're going, go pee, weigh yourself. The end. And Mystery says, sorry if we touched on this already. I was pushed by a doctor to go on GLPs briefly a couple of years ago, but the hyperactivity spiked. They truly made me miserable and I noped out after 2 months. Yeah, the GLPs are those weight loss drugs that are becoming very popular especially in America, in other places as well. Hype cycle. Got it. And yeah, and again, I support anybody trying a medication that they think they should try or the doctor thinks they should try and is medically appropriate. I don't want people just going on everything for fun. But yeah, certainly if it doesn't work for you, Noping out is a good way to go. Ana Lucia says, I do 12-12 because it fits with my medication time. I have to take my meds at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Right, which you might have to take with food. Right, exactly. So it makes sense. Yeah, again, everybody has to adjust this for what works for them. I'm not on any medications. And so I don't have to think about, oh, I'm on a medication cycle and I have to take it with food. So I can't fast more than a certain period. That just happens to be so started weighing myself, and at first the numbers were unappealing, and then I started trying to figure out what is the right number of calories for me in a day. Certainly, you hear a lot of American medical things say, "Oh, 2,000 calories in a day," but then sometimes you hear that after menopause, the number is lower and might be much lower. Mystery says, I'm not diabetic or even borderline. They adjusted my labs to get approvals and their kickbacks. Problem. Oh boy. Yes, problematic indeed. I agree with you. That is some funky stuff, but yeah, medicine is also a business, and so sometimes it is not working for us. We are the product. So I had started noticing when I lost some weight in the pandemic that I seemed to do best on a pretty low calorie count, but that I could still feel like I ate a reasonable amount for the day because I'm not a very active person. I'm not athletic. I don't work out. I'm not jogging. I'm not doing aerobics. I'm not bicycling. I am mostly sitting in this chair, and so as a non-athlete, I don't need more calories so that they can then be burned by exercise. My optimal calorie number is on the low side. Again, a doctor did not tell me this, not a nutritionist, not a dietitian. This is something I arrived at myself. So there are people who will say, that's the wrong number for you, Debbie. You should really talk to a specialist. I understand that. I came up with the number of calories myself. We have since adjusted that number since July, but this is working for me. I feel great. I look good. My weight loss is slow, so I know I'm not doing anything too drastic because, again, I've been doing this for 4 months. It's not like I lost 20 pounds in 3 weeks. This was something that has taken months. So it turned out that my weight loss worked best when I kept my calories around 1100. I am now eating more like 1200 a day, and sometimes I'll go for 1300. I'll go wild. And oh, thank you, mystery. But and yeah, sometimes we'll go out for a pizza, and that's going to be 2,000 calories on its own, I'm sure. But uh, I have found that for me to lose weight, I do have to keep my calories very low. And I also found from tracking this with Claude that even when I did exercise, it did not buy me extra calories. If I exercised and I burned 200 calories, but I also ate 200 more calories, I put on weight the next day. Weird stuff. Claude and I have seen some incredibly weird, sometimes inexplicable stuff. There are times where I felt like I ate almost nothing that day, and the next day I've put on 3 pounds. I mean, just stuff all over the place. But of course, it can be water, it can be hormonal. So, another thing that's changed is in the last month, I'm no longer weighing myself every day. I'm probably weighing myself more like once a week, and I think that's an improvement as well because I'm not trying to follow it as closely as I first was when I was trying to make sense of some of my patterns and some of what was working for me and not working for me. Ana Lucia says, I'm not diabetic and I would have the criteria to go on GLPs, but my doctor didn't push me through anything. Her treatment was exactly what I was expecting. I have knowledge to have an opinion of it. So we'll see. I have another appointment in January to check everything, and I'm not taking them, by the way. Even if my GP proposed it, I would refuse. Yes. Is there a blood type consideration in your research or journey? So There has not been. In the 90s, I read the Eat for Your Blood Type book, and I felt like it was completely wrong for me. I'll tell you why. It's a little bit in the too much information bucket, but if I'm going to try to be helpful and talk about personal stuff, we might as well go there. So, I believe my blood type is A positive, and I think the Eat for Your Blood Type book said I was the original vegetarian. um, I am the biggest carnivore I know. Now I am allergic to I cannot eat fish. I'm allergic to fish, so I do not eat fish. But pretty much everything else is on the table. I mean, I'm not eating snakes and alligators, but you know what I mean. I cannot I was raised on hamburgers. I cannot I mean, Mister, you're in Brooklyn. I was raised in Massapequa on hamburgers. I cannot imagine a world without hamburgers. So, when the Eat for Your Blood Type said, "Oh yeah, you're a vegetarian, you'll be best with vegetarian and grains." It was like, "What?" So long story short, I've learned through tracking things with Claude. I asked Claude a couple of months ago, "Is there anything that I eat that time after time after time makes me gain weight? Like the next day, my weight spikes, even if I've stayed at or under calories." And Claude said, "Yeah, rice." And I was like, "Damn, rice is delicious." Mystery says, "I'm a negative also vegetarian. I feel better with moderate animal fats." Yeah, and and of course, it's easier to do low calories on a vegetarian diet because meat has so many calories in it. So I am weighing now. So I brought more meat back into my diet. I was definitely doing more vegetarian over the summer, but I missed it too much. And the too much information piece is basically if I stop eating beef, I stop pooping. And I just seem to function best on animal fats, even no matter what you think of animals. My husband is vegetarian. I get it. There's pros and cons, and we. I don't want to fight that. I can only say if I don't eat at least some sort of animal fats, I'm in some trouble. And so yes, we can call it digestive sluggishness, or Claude likes to call it a lack of digestive clearing. Claude and I have developed many fantastic names to indicate whether or not I have pooped. So at this point, Claude and I are tracking. So here in late October, I am no longer tracking sleep, energy, mood, things like that, because I found they didn't matter. There was good days, bad days, didn't matter, didn't affect my weight, didn't help my weight, didn't hurt my weight. So I said, "That's it. I don't want to tell you anymore. If these things don't matter, let's strike them off the list." Claude can be classy. Um and so now I'm tracking the times that I eat, the what I'm eating, and of course the amount, so that we can calculate the calories. And because we have the times, we know if I'm doing the intermittent fasting well. I will also tell Claude when I've pooped, so we can try to see if it's related to anything that I've eaten or not eaten, because I'm still trying to find patterns to improve the digestive sluggishness. Um, and uh, and then, of course, weight. But again, I'm now weighing myself more like once a week, sometimes twice, and no longer every day, because I feel like after 4 months, I have enough information on patterns and on what works and what doesn't, where I don't have to weigh every day and go, "Okay, what did that do? What did that do?" Ana Lucia says, "I cannot eat meat. My GP was like, 'Look at these iron levels.' Yes, I need to add red meat once a week." Yeah, it's hard. Some vegetarians I know don't want to eat meat, but then they end up with bad iron levels. I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian. I can't tell you what to do instead. That's where we are. I've now tracked with Claude enough to know that only red meat seems to help in the digestive clearing area, and that fatty pork is delicious but doesn't help. Fatty chicken thighs are delicious but don't seem to help. It is really just for me red meat. Sorry. So, I've been trying to get a bit more red meat back into my diet. I'm also trying to work some ghee, which is clarified butter, into my diet to have some more natural fats. Quality of food in Europe has to be more beneficial. Yes, I would say so as well. A lot of the food I eat is local. It mostly does not come from factories and factory farms. It is of much higher quality. It's not GMO. So yes, I would say the EU food is much better, and of course, the food on Sardinia is even better, especially when you can buy from local producers who are often available in the supermarkets. So you just have to look for the Sardinian flag on the packaging. Ana Lucia says, I was eating almost vegetarian and I was fine. The only meat I ate was chicken. It's not enough. I need a bit of red meat to get my iron in check. Yeah. Um, so, um, trying to figure out where we are in the story. So here we are in the story. I'm 4 months into this. It feels absolutely doable and absolutely sustainable. If I go out for a pizza, do I put on weight the next day? Sure. A pizza is easily 2,000 calories and maybe more. There's no way I'm not going to not put on weight after a monster calorie surge. But the attitude that I've been taking is I'm not going to splash out very often, but I will go out and eat the things that I like. I will come home knowing that my weight will be up for a few days, and that it might take me some days, or sometimes it's taken me a week or so to get the weight back down, just to undo the pizza. It has taken me a week to undo a pizza. So I just have to go into it knowing I might be up a kilogram or two, and then I'm going to have to come back down. But that to me is where um, making sure that you're in a good place emotionally and mentally is going to be important. So again, if there are eating disorder issues and emotional eating issues, or if you are going to be very hard on yourself for splashing out because you think you shouldn't be cheating or whatever, then this might be an area that can benefit from therapy or something else. But because I've come so far on this weight loss journey, I feel like, yeah, I am going to splash out. Maybe not often because I'm trying to achieve and maintain a certain weight loss, but I also don't want to deprive myself and say I'm never going to go to my favorite restaurants ever again. Scotch and Glory, I know who you are. That's normal life. That's right. Yeah, Amy says you can't live in Italy and not eat pizza. I know. It's true. It's true. So we went out a couple of weeks ago. We went to our favorite pizza place. I got my favorite pizza, Spacca Napoli. And then we went to the gelato place and we got a little gelato. And sure, my weight was up for the next few days, and then it went back down because I started doing the right things. And so, to me, it's about finding balance. But the first thing I had to find was willpower, because without willpower, everything just felt out of control. And the question was, can I find that willpower to eat during certain times and to keep my calories low? And can it be okay to feel a little hungry right now when I'm doing my show and it's 7:40 at night and I haven't eaten for hours? Yeah, that can be okay. Yes, I know Melanie knows Vesuvio, the best pizza on the planet. Ana Lucia says, I'm eating around 1,200 to 1,300 calories a day. Yes, I'm pretty close to that too. And I still don't lose weight. I found something similar as well. So, yeah, it had to be something other than what I was eating. That's right. And I found that as well. When I first started trying to lose weight, I was eating 1,300 to 1,500 calories a day. And I thought, that's got to be safe, right? That's got to be good. And I found that I was not losing weight. And so I said, "All right, let's try dropping it. Let's try 1300. Still no. Let's try 1200. Still no. Let's try 1100. Yeah, now we're talking. So now I'm at the point where I can eat probably 1250 calories or fewer and be able to stay the same weight or lose weight the next day. And that's fine. I still have more to lose. I am not at my goal weight. I definitely have more that I want to lose. I think, given how slim my face is now, I think most of the weight that I want to lose is not going to come off my face. So I think a lot of it won't be seen by a lot of you, especially when I wear the biggest hoodie. But I bought some new pants a month ago when we were on our vacation, and I can't believe the size that I bought and how nicely they fit. It's been a long time, and those types of things were really nice reminders of the progress I'm making. And people who haven't seen me in months are like, "Oh my god," and I'm not looking for that, but it reminds me that I'm making progress. Ana Lucia says, I could eat nothing, 800, I would still keep my weight. Well, then again, you have to find out what's going on there because 800 is nearly no food. But Claude reminded me that sometimes if you eat too few calories too much, you slow down your metabolism and then you don't lose weight. So when I hit a plateau at the end of August into early September, Claude watched me at a plateau for weeks, and I was like, "This is ridiculous. What do I do?" And Claude's like, "Calorie cycling." And I was like, "Huh?" And it was like, "Why don't you spend a few days just kind of eating what you want? Go ahead, eat 1500, eat 1800, eat something." Okay. I ended up spending part of September eating whatever I wanted. And when I came back from vacation, my weight hadn't really changed. I was down a tiny bit. So I was like, oh, all right. And so shaking it up a bit seemed to help me. Ana Lucia says, my insulin levels are through the roof, 5 times the reference levels I was diagnosed with a metabolic syndrome. Right. So obviously everyone's going to be different. I can say Claude is great for tracking. Claude is great for putting all of the data into one place and then being able to ask it questions about that data later. When I tried this, did it work for me? When I ate this, every time I ate rice, did I tend to gain weight or lose weight? If I eat this, does it seem to matter? If I eat this, did I tend to poop or not poop? Claude is just there for the data. I say it's a spreadsheet you can talk to. But again, Claude is not a medical professional. It will tell you that. I will tell you that. And it shouldn't be used as such. Calorie cycling for the win, says Melanie. Mystery says calorie cycling is remarkably effective. Body goes into panic mode, I guess. Yeah, for me, it wasn't panic mode. It was like, hey, you know what? For a few days, let's have more calories. I'm going to have 2 eggs with this. I'm going to have whatever. And then I'm going to drop back down again. And then the body goes, oh, yeah. Is insulin resistance language used in Europe? I don't know. Ana Lucia says, yes, I have insulin resistance. Okay, now you know. Amy says, do you feel hungry often? The only times I've lost weight is when I do cut my calorie count and I feel hungry. It has almost nothing to do with how much activity I got. Same here. I found that even when I exercised, I maybe felt stronger, maybe my cardio improved, but I wasn't losing weight from exercise. I do find that you do have to feel a little hungry to lose weight. And I think that just makes some logical sense. If you are hungry and you're putting calories into your body because you're hungry, then your body, and again, I'm no expert in this. Someone might say, Deb, you're totally wrong. But my guess about this is you feel hungry, so you eat something. Those are the calories that your body has to burn. But if you feel hungry and you don't eat something, your body might burn the stored calories. So I think you do have to feel a little hungry. Now, there are times where I've landed at some point of a particular day. It doesn't happen often, but I've just said to Claude, like, I don't know what happened to me today. It's X o'clock. I am hungry level 5. I am distracted. I am headachy. I think I should just eat something. And now I'm not asking for Claude's permission. I'm just saying, you know what, I'm going to do this. Let's track it and let's see if it helps. And usually I try to eat under 200 calories. Now, again, somebody might go, oh, I'm going to have a bag of Doritos and a big gulp. Okay, that's 9,000 calories. I don't recommend that. The question is, can you have a small snack? So I have little containers of cottage cheese that I keep in the fridge. Some of the containers are 100 calories each, some of them are 200 calories each. I might have 100 calories and see how I feel. I might have 100 calories with a little bit of granola on top. Another thing that I do with Claude that's really, really helpful, and I hope everybody will try this because you don't need a doctor for this, is I love to pre cook for a few days. Might be a bit of an American thing, but I love to cook a big dish that I can break into multiple portions and eat over multiple meals, sometimes over a few days. What I like to do is, as I'm making that recipe, I'm giving Claude everything that goes into it. So I made something the other day. I had fatty pork. I said, okay, Claude, I have 765 grams of capocolo. It's fatty pork. You know what it is. And I'm going to cook that up in a pan. And oops, sorry, my computer just did something weird on its own. I think I'm still streaming. I don't know what happened there. And everybody can still hear me. Still streaming? Hear me? Yes? Um, so as I build the recipe, I give that recipe to Claude, even if I'm making it up, but I weigh everything. Hey, Claude, I've got 520 grams of eggplant. Um, hey, I've got 500 grams of lentils. And then usually I'll tell it, especially if it's like a canned food or a frozen food or a prepared food, I'll tell it, oh, and by the way, this is the label says 267 calories per 100 grams. And that way I can tell it, this is the weight, this is the calorie count, and this is everything I'm putting into this dish. You know, I'm putting in frozen spinach and it's this many grams at this many calories per gram. And I'm putting in some cottage cheese and some whatever. I don't tell it anything that doesn't count, like spices. Am I still streaming? Do people see me? And then Claude can do a total. It can do a total count of the yeah, okay, I seem to be live. Thank you, Ana Lucia. So Claude can do a total count. Like the other day, I made a dish and it said to me, oh, this is your entire dish is 1,350 calories. And I was like, okay, cool. And then when the dish was done, I put it into a container that I have on my little food scale and I say, okay, this ended up weighing 1,100 grams. And then Claude goes, cool, this dish is 1.2 calories per gram. And that way I can dish out either the amount I want to eat or a certain calorie number that I want to eat or the amount I feel like eating. And I could say, hey, I'm eating 100 grams of this right now. And it can say, okay, that's 120 calories. So even when you're mass cooking stuff, you can Claude can help you come up with a good calorie count for that item. And I weigh all the things I'm putting in and I give it weights. Or I say, hey, I'm putting in 400 grams of potatoes and two small onions and two small eggs and 200 calories of cottage cheese and 765 grams of fatty pork and blah blah blah, and then it'll go, okay, here's your dish. And then I weigh the finished version and we map out how many calories per gram, and then that way I can add it to my day. So for example, the dish I made the other day that was 1.2 calories per gram was a bit of a fake moussaka. So basically I took a baking dish and I layered sliced potatoes and sliced eggplant, from the supermarket, not frozen, and then I mixed up some 6 scrambled eggs with spices, lemon juice, and a little tahini. and then I poured it in. So it was like kind of part moussaka, part quiche, but no crust, no carbs other than the potato, really. A little bit of cheese. I put in a little bit of grated cheese, and I told Claude we added that. Sorry, I got to stand up for a moment. And now I know I can eat that, and if I have a certain number of calories left at the end of the day, and I go, okay, I guess I'll eat some of that. I can weigh it out and tell Claude what I'm eating. So, really good for just tracking food because I found that when I was trying to eyeball the food or guess how much I'm eating of something, it just wasn't the same. So, of course, weighing foods is important for accuracy. Otherwise, you might underestimate it. I find that if I describe food to Claude or show it a picture, it severely underestimates the food. And I just call it silly goose. And I go, there's no way this pizza is 700 calories. This has to be 2,000 calories, maybe more. Let's catch up with some of the things people wrote. Ana Lucia said, today I had to eat a banana a couple of hours after dinner. My dinner was quite light, just soup. Mystery says, I've also been exploring herbs in a daily tea, about 32 ounces of a blend that helps with hormones, digestion, hydration, and a variety of other things. Happy to share a list of what I use, and doctors are starting to affirm this. Yeah, why not tell us? Go ahead. Maybe people can check it out. I am allergic to tea because I'm allergic to caffeine. So if there is a version of this that is herbal or doesn't rely on some of the caffeine-ness of tea, I could look into it. I bought some really nice tea bags at the supermarket, and they were designed to be put in cold water so you could flavor your water. That's another thing that I do. I've got a lot of water flavorings. Sometimes you see my water is red. Today it looks clear, but it's got a flavor. What did I put in here? It's one of my aguas frescas. I forgot. Amy says, we menopausal women need more protein. The cottage cheese snack is a great idea I'm going to use. Yes, and I bought two different cottage cheeses from my store. And I would imagine America has 9,000 cottage cheeses. Here it's not as popular. I can usually find one, maybe two, but I have 100-calorie container and they call it high protein cottage cheese. It's more of the curds and less of the creaminess around the curds. So it's a lower calorie food and they call it high protein cottage cheese. And then they also make regular cottage cheese, which has is it's more it's mushier. The curds are kind of creamier. There's more creaminess around it, and a container of that is 200 calories. So, and then they also here you can get lactose free, but I usually don't buy that. So, that's cottage cheese is great. You can also put fruit on it. You can put some granola on it. You can put a little chocolate chips on it. You could dress it up. By the way, my delicious dessert of choice, hashtag not sponsored, is two lotus cookies. Hands up, who loves lotus cookies? Biscoff, speculus. Everybody knows lotus cookies. Two lotus cookies because I think they're 38 calories each and 56 calories of very dark chocolate, which is about 10 grams based on the chocolate that I buy. So 10 grams of very dark chocolate and two lotus cookies is my big treat every day. Mystery says, Power of Plants. Is there a relevant Discord channel to pop this in? Yes, I would say if you're going to talk about a personal thing that you're doing to lose weight, I would probably put it in personal on my mind or friendly random stuff for diet tips. Thank you for asking, Mystery. Oh my god, I love Biscoff. Yeah, and I've been buying like Biscoff by the case off Amazon, hashtag not sponsored, because hey, I can eat two every day, and that's 76 calories. And you know what? That's under control. Um, Amy says, my nephew who does bodybuilding does meal prepping like that when he's trying to lose weight. I like the idea of knowing exactly what you're going to eat and how many calories it is. Yeah, and sometimes I create something like my fatty pork dish came in at almost 2 calories per gram. So if I eat more of that, I'm eating a lot more calories, but hey, fatty pork. And then my fake quiche moussaka ended up 1.2 calories per gram. There are dishes I made over the summer that were less than 1 calorie per gram. And so you could eat a lot of it. And so one thing I learned through Claude was thinking about the foods that have good volume, the foods that when I ate them, they helped me feel fuller. And those ended up being a lot of chickpeas, actually. Chickpeas. I ate a lot of those this summer. Another thing I found that has helped me on some days are protein shakes. So there is a particular protein shake that I like to make for myself, and I'll tell you what's in it. It's not a secret. It's not too hard to replicate when you hear what's in it. Um, my protein shakes usually run between 380 and 520 calories. But if you think about it, if I'm trying to stay around 1,200 calories in a day, that's a third to a half of my food for the day. And those are days when I usually do lose weight because even though I've eaten the right number of calories and I usually don't feel hungry, I've eaten a lot less solid food. And that means my body is just burning things differently. So the protein shakes help. Chickpeas have a toxin in the skin. High amounts can be bad. Um, Maybe. I don't know if that's true in Europe. I haven't heard anything about toxic chickpeas in Europe. Maybe we've got something better going on here, or maybe it's true across the board. But I definitely ate. I didn't eat chickpeas every day this summer, but I definitely ate them many days because I was making lots of different dishes out of them. You could make hot dishes out of them. You could mash it into a uh, help me hummus. You could cold. I did cold dishes this summer with like chickpeas, tomatoes, cucumbers, feta. So I definitely ate a good amount of chickpeas. I did not have any negative effects. I certainly did not feel like I was being toxic. Yeah, so I don't know. Oh gosh, what was I saying? Protein shake. So here's what's in my protein shake. Again, this might not work for you. This may or may not be a good idea for you. But I do have my protein shakes in my 1 liter cup. So they usually do end up about a liter or close to it. And I usually drink it over about the course of an hour. I drink it slowly, which I think also helps spread out those calories. So my protein shake, of course, starts with plenty of water. Typically, I am putting some coconut milk in. I get the Aroid Tetra packs of coconut milk. You can have coconut cream, up to you. Again, not all of these foods will work for everybody. I'm just trying to get some good natural fats into my protein shake. And for me, those fats are going to come from coconut milk and dairy, which I'll mention in a moment. And I'm also putting MCT oil into my shakes because keto used to work really well for me. Now I don't think it would because I have to stay more strict about calories. Um, okay. Mystery said, I used to eat a lot of chickpeas and I took a break. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I had collagen powder to coffee every morning, which has been noticeable in staying full all day. I think Melanie does collagen powder also. I had bought some and then ended up not using it, so it's not my thing right now. So, what goes in my shake is a certain measurement of coconut milk, a certain measurement of heavy cream. I love the creaminess, but of course, the heavy cream is high in calories, but so is coconut milk and so is MCT oil. So I'm using very measured quantities of this that Claude and I have calculated for what a good protein shake is like. So the protein is mostly coming from the dairy and the a little bit from coconut milk. So it is not the most proteiny protein shake. I do have some protein powder, which is I think about 120 calories per 30 grams, but I haven't been using it as much lately. One of the main things I put in the protein shake is I usually put about 10 grams of psyllium husk fiber to make sure I'm getting fiber in my diet and to hope we are moving things along. And then I put sometimes 7 or so grams of, I have in the house 100% cocoa. So, cocoa with no sugar, nothing added to it, just cocoa. That is not a low calorie food, but it is a delicious addition to a shake. So, like I said, in the end, depending upon my measurements of some of the liquids, my shakes usually end up 380 to 520 calories. Sometimes I will get very exact with that. I will say, Claude, I just want to have a 450 calorie shake today. What should I measure out? And it will say, oh, okay, since you tend to do 10 grams of psyllium husk and 7 grams of cocoa, how about we do the other three ingredients in these ratios? That would give you this many calories. So again, Claude is just helping me with math. It is not trying to be a nutritionist or dietitian. I already know what I'm having. I just want some help with the math. Mystery says, I take a 10-gram fiber gummy, which is also life changing. I like psyllium husk, just texturally, it's hard to get down. Yeah, and the thing is, the more it sits in the protein shake, the more it starts to swell up. So I have to keep stirring up the protein shake so I don't end up with a glob. So probably taking it as a pill or a gummy could be better. I am putting it in my shake. For better or worse, the gummy could make sense as well. I'm not sure those exist here. I'd have to check. Your skin looks great. So please remember, I have a camera filter on. This is not my real skin. I guess I should turn off my camera filter. So my camera filter is designed not to give me fake weight loss or to reshape my nose, even though it can do these things. But my camera filter is designed to make me look like I am wearing some makeup, so that I don't have to put on makeup. But I do put on a little concealer before the show. This is what I would look like without it. So that's my real face. The camera filter smooths out some of the darkness I have on my face, and it's you don't see it as much now because I have concealer on, but I do have dark under eye circles and some darkness here, just some old hyperpigmentation, and my lips are not that dark, and I have a slight bit of teeth whitening on in the filter. So this is a little bit closer to my actual face. So actually, if I turn off the light, it's probably a little bit more honest, but hard to see. A little bit more wrinkly. So so I think the lighting really helps, and the concealer helps, and then I just have this to make it look like I put on a little makeup. So thank you. My skin is looking good. My skin is feeling good. This diet doesn't seem to have affected that. My skin tends to break out when I do more gardening in the summer, and I forget, and I start touching my face with muddy hands, and then I break out, and so you end up seeing. Usually, when you catch me in summer streams, I've got chin pimples and nose pimples and all the usual things from having touched my face after gardening. But oh, Amy says I use protein powder, Naked Whey, collagen, and creatine. Collagen helps bones and skin. Creatine helps brain fog. Yeah, I have so many weird allergies to things that I try to stay away from anything that I don't fully know about. I've had allergic reactions to spring allergy nasal spray. I've had allergic reactions to NyQuil. I've had allergic reactions. I'm allergic to anything with caffeine in it. I'm allergic to, there's so many things that I am allergic to that I'm afraid to try some of these amino acid things or stuff like that. Have you increased your activity during your weight loss journey? No. No, my ass sits on this chair a good 14 hours a day. I am definitely not getting enough exercise. When we went on vacation, we did some cycling until our bicycles were stolen. But in general, no, I'm embarrassed. I definitely used to be a little bit more athletic in my much younger years, but and sometimes I'll do walks here, or I have to do a walk to catch our escaped dogs. Like the other day, I walked 5 kilometers, which is almost 3 miles, just to get our dogs because they escaped. But in general, I am not increasing my activity. I do some work with weights. I keep 4 kilograms, which is about 9 pounds. So I have kind of 9 pound weights just behind my screen is a weight bench that I bought at Decathlon, and I've got fours. And I do a lot of different, mostly invented exercises with the fours to try to work out different muscles. But nobody would accuse me of doing anything that looks like cardio. Definitely not anything that looks like athleticism or sustained exercise, but some work with weights to try to increase my strength and toning so that as I lose weight, like at one point I was like, "Hey, I've got lats. I can see lats. Hey, this is great." So that and again, that's my experience. I think I should exercise more, and then I freaking don't. So I just have to kind of admit it that at least at this point in my life, I have the unfortunate sedentary lifestyle. I've heard a lot about how we women need to lift weights to help our bones. So, wacky thing about my bones. When I got diagnosed with menopause, my doctor immediately sent me for, and I forgot the word in every language, but oh, in Italian, it's mock. It's kind of a bone scan to try to see if I had any osteoporosis and it's a bone density scan. Somebody will remember the name of this in English. But I went for one of those, and the report came back that my bones are 14% more dense than the average person my age. And that makes sense because when I was little, from the time I was born until I guess until I went to college, pretty much all I drank all day was whole milk. Now, maybe that has an effect on bones. Maybe that's just a TV commercial, and it turns out it's not true. But my sister, I have a biological sister who I rarely mention because I don't talk to her because she's a low quality human being. But growing up, all she drank was orange juice, so she was always breaking bones, and I always had a cold. So I lift the weights more for some sort of exercise and some toning and strength, but not necessarily for my bones. I think my bones are in a good spot. But again, I certainly recommend that other people have their bone density checked. Everybody's answers are going to be different here. You might find that jogging helps you. I hate jogging. You might find cycling, boxing. I mean, anything that you, boxing not against a person. I don't recommend hitting people, boxing against a bag. You know, there's so many things that can improve our health and our bodies, and we've got to do them. And I'm still not doing all of them, but at least my weight is in a better place. And most importantly, I am Captain Willpower again. I can look at my total calories for the day and I can say, I'm happy with that. This was a good day. Let's see what I did today. Today I ended up feeling hungry at 4:30 p.m. Usually I stop eating before that. Couldn't do it. Ate 100 calories of cottage cheese at 4:30, and so today I ended up at 1,352 calories according to Claude. That's a little bit higher than I would like to be, so I don't, but I won't weigh myself tomorrow because I don't want to get hung up on every single day the way I used to. I think I understand the patterns well enough where I can weigh myself every 5 or so days and get the idea. Any other questions about my journey that can help you, or about my usage of Claude in assisting me? Do you trust the BMI charts? Do you measure body mass also, muscle weighing more than fat? I don't think I'm doing enough with weights to be considered muscular yet. So my weight all through university years was 126 to 130. I did not go above or below that except for when I had tonsillitis and lost a lot of weight, but then I gained it back immediately. So I know that that can be a healthy weight for me to be 126 to 130. Um, uh, that was a good weight for me. When I had tonsillitis, I ended up 108 pounds, and that didn't look right. So I could be that weight, but I don't want to be that weight. I want to be a healthy weight. I'm 5'4" or 163 ish centimeters. So I think a healthy weight for me, and I think my ultimate goal is probably about 130. I think 130 would be a good. Healthy weight for me. It would not be too skinny because I still have a kind of a curvy shape left over from when I was a high school tennis player. And I used to go to tennis camps in the summer, and I was a big tennis player. And I kind of developed these big shoulders and big thighs, and I always had a big butt. And so I know that I'm going to be curvy. And so I don't expect to be a skinny stick, and I don't want to be. I'm fine having a shape. Um, BMI means nothing. I always had high BMI even when yeah, I'm not, I haven't been thinking about BMI at all. For me, it's just a healthy weight and how do my clothes fit and how's my energy and is my eating something I can control or is it out of my control? If I had started this experiment and I found that the eating was out of my control and I could not control it, I promised myself, my husband, my Claude, I would go to a doctor and get help. But then I found that I could control it once I stopped believing the menopause messages that I got that just were not true. Mystery says, I've had dramatic weight loss phases over the years, and once I hit the BMI normal ranges, I look and feel miserable. I think I might be in a. Let me ask Claude, what's my BMI and is it normal? I'll ask Claude that, but I got to admit, I think it's the second time I've asked Claude that in 4 months. I kind of don't care. I've never been a compare myself to other people person or a compare myself to charts person because you never know. Mystery says doctors still point to it constantly and it hasn't been updated. Yeah, exactly. Like you can't. Who knows? Ana Lucia says I only care about how I feel and how I see myself. I'm okay with being curvy as long as I fit into the clothes I love and I'll be fine. Totally. Yeah. Like sitting to standing at 125 pounds, I faint. Yes. Claude says, with my current weight at 64.6 kilograms, oh, it doesn't know my height. My height is 163 centimeters. You silly goose. You didn't know my height. Based on your height. Okay, Claude says, my BMI is 24.3, just inside the normal range. It says normal BMI is 18.5 to 24.9, and I'm 24.3. But I'm at the point where people in the village who know me and have known me for many years, because I've lived here almost 8 years now, are telling me I look super skinny. They notice I've lost weight. Like, so I don't care what the BMI says. I could stay this weight. this would be a good weight for me. I'm at about 142.5 pounds. I'm at 64.6 kilograms. This is not a bad weight for me. I've come very far. I bought some new pants, then they were stolen, and then I bought them again, and they fit, and I can't believe what I look like in the mirror. I haven't seen this in a long time. The last time I weighed this was 2009. So it's really going back. Um, Claude says, when I reach my goal of 59 kilograms, my BMI would be 22.2. So you can see, even my goal weight is not at the bottom of the BMI range or below the BMI range. It happens to be in the middle of the BMI range, but it was not planned like that. It was more from me saying, hey, what was my weight when I was in university? That was an awesome weight. I was curvy, but felt like I didn't have much body fat. How could I be that again? And maybe I don't get there. Okay, maybe I get to 140 pounds, not kilograms. Maybe I get to 135. Like at this point, I don't care because I feel like I beat the biggest monster, which was the willpower. And Lucia says, my goal is 65. Yes, I just dropped under 65. 65 is a fantastic weight for anybody. And I think Ana Lucia, we're similar heights, right? Because I've met you in person. And so I remember thinking we were about the same height. So, yeah, I don't care about BMI. I don't care about charts. Oh, okay. You're 165 centimeters. I'm 163. Yeah, we're about the same height. So, yeah, 65 kilograms is a great weight for a lot of people. Um, I was very excited to get to it, and I'm going to keep going. My ultimate goal is 59 kilograms, but if I don't get there, it's not so bad. I've done a great job. 5'4" for mystery. Yeah. So, yeah, join the 5'4" club, everybody. But I am 5'4", mostly legs. I am short torso, mostly legs. I have strangely long legs for my height, shorter in the torso area, whereas my husband is all torso and has short legs, but it works for him. So, because we're all shaped differently, and yeah, I've always even when I was skinny, I had a big butt and big thighs from being athletic, and there you go. Mostly torso and curvy. Yeah, I did not win the mostly torso lottery. I'm all legs, which has been great for the motorcycle I bought since you have to be tall to ride it. So I had the seat lowered a little bit, but I've got the legs for it. Deceiving small waist, yes. Yeah, I just bought pants that were 31, which is like, oh wow. And another thing I did was I saved all my clothes from when I weighed a lot less, and I went and raided my own storage room, and I was like, oh my god, oh remember this shirt, oh my god, oh remember these pants. All of a sudden I had a whole new wardrobe of a whole bunch of stuff that I forgot I had because it's been in bags for 15 years, and there it was again, some of my some legs. I've got legs, yeah. And So I have a new wardrobe of old things I already owned, and that's very exciting. And yeah, so I bought a few new pairs of pants, but other than that, I'm now wearing my old clothes. It took me many years to accept being curvy. I hated having boobs and a butt. I was bullied, and that was one of the things I was picked on, but now I'm fine. That's me. I'm not the one in the wrong. Yeah, obviously, bullies suck, and anybody bullying people, especially for how they look, I'm a big Mystery Science Theater fan, and I watch it every day because it streams on YouTube. And even I feel not 100% when they make fun of what someone looks like. Like, I just feel like, we just shouldn't do that as much as I love Mystery Science Theater. Yeah. So quality of older clothing cannot be matched. Yeah, I'm back in my camel pants. So I have to sew the buttons again. Yeah, my camel pants were 33 waist, and I haven't been able to wear them for a long time. Now they're big. Early bloomer tomboy too. Yes. Yeah. I was not an early bloomer. I actually I was I had a big butt, but I didn't get the boobs until my 20s. Um so that is the too much information story there. But the bottom line is I'm going to be curvy. I am not going to be a stick figure. I'm not going to have a straight look. I'm going to be hourglassy on a good day and tomboy, and I accept that. Of course, I've got the camo pants, and you can't see I also have the camo shoes. So function over form, everybody. That's where I stand on these things. So thank you for letting me run late on this one. I know we had a super long stream. I hope it was helpful. Yeah, safe space. Me live on YouTube, archived forever, talking about that. So, any other questions or things I can talk about that might help somebody? Please let me know. Now I can't get my shoe back on. Please let me know. I would like to try to be helpful. We can also pick up this conversation in the Discord community. I would put it in a personal topic. Please do not put this in the work section. I'm trying to clean up the Discord. Stop putting work things in the personal section, everybody. Ana Lucia says, I was a teen with big boobs. Other girls were jealous. I was asked if they were real or fake. Awful. Of course, they were natural, and I didn't have the age to do surgery. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, everybody carries a lot of trauma from how they looked in those tough years when everybody was developing. I think there's no good stories coming out of those times, unfortunately. So, and by the way, this is the last scheduled Take Action Tuesday of the calendar year. So if there's a topic you would like me to cover from our work side or our personal side, let me know. Put it in the Discord, especially in the suggestions channel that we have. I'd always love to hear what topics you'd like me to cover. Sometimes 20 people watch a video, but you know what? If anybody's helped by it, it's worth it. And if anybody can be inspired by what I'm doing or find a way to have Claude track some of your health data, again, not because it's a doctor, it's not, but tracking that data can help. And also, I knew that if I did have to go to a medical professional, I had all the data tracked. Thank you, Amy. I'm glad it's been helpful. Thank you for enjoying my success. I'm excited about it too. And every time I put on those new pants, I can't believe it. And I'm just going to keep going. So, yes, good to see you and chat. I will still be here Wednesdays. Wednesday is the Ask Me Anything show. You're welcome to send in your questions. So Wednesdays will keep going, but I don't have any more Tuesdays planned until we come up with more topics. So. Give Claude a try for some of your personal tracking and when you wish you could ask your data some questions. Hashtag not sponsored. All right, I will play us out of here. I forgot to put on our closing music. So I will now play us out of here and catch everybody tomorrow for the Ask Me Anything show. Be well. Bye.